Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Teddy, and today in this video, we're gonna be looking at 9 great office fragrances. So what we're looking at here is you're in a desk, maybe in a cubicle, you're gonna be in close quarters with other employees around you, coworkers, and you want something that's going to give off the presence of and feeling of being professional, but not being so overpowering where you're gassing people out. The office is a situation where the right fragrance is a great way to send a message, but the wrong one could send all the wrong messages. So these are ones that I think are well balanced, well in putting out the right reputation and presentation of yourself. And we have 9 picked out. Courtney has 5, I have 4. We're looking at all different price ranges. Courtney, let's begin.
Number 1 here, we have Dunhill Desire. So this one, again, I mean, to start off, super safe fragrance, affordable, which is even better. You're not going to offend anybody sitting next to you with this one, which is why I like it. You get the apple, vanilla, a little bit of musk, lemon, just really sophisticated vanilla bergamot scent. It's not as conventional though, I would say. It's not so basic.
It has some floral mix in there. You also have a rose note in here. So Dunhill, I would say they have very safe fragrances for the office. Anything I've pretty much tried from them, I think could be appropriate. It's not excessively loud. It's very much to the point. It's classy, but also has some wearability and just elements to it that I think allow them to really project out the right type of approach somebody would want for this office category.
Yeah, you're giving off a good first impression with this one.
All right, so next up here, we have a somewhat newer fragrance from Hermès. This is H24. Very much immediate office, easy wearability type of positioning that I could see this one being just in someone's collection for. You have metallic notes, you have clary sage, rosewood. This to me gives off some of that clean but also aromatic type of approach in some ways. And just when you smell it, it has almost those kind of barbershop vibes. It just feels like a clean shave. It's fresh, inviting. You have that denseness with the woods. But this is a nice, classy fragrance. Now, Terre d'Hermès, when you think about that, you have that vetiver note. This has some of that like woodsy backbone to it, but maybe not as bright on the citrus side of things, but does, I think, have the same type of format and is, of course, not the same old that so many people are familiar with Terre d'Hermès. I think this is a good switch up if you like that type of world, want something completely different at the end of the day, because it is very different, but coming from a house that I think is well respected in this category with Hermès. It's easy to wear, and if you're trying to give off that fresh or clean type of approach without leaning too much into that soapy type of arena, I think this is a nice option. All right, next up, Courtney.
Next, we have kind of a classic, I think, when you're thinking about safe fragrances, which is Prada L'Homme. This one is your traditional, like, soapy, clean, fresh, again, perfect for the office because it's safe, I would say. Like, the staying power is great on that one.
Yeah, you do have this one stay on the skin for quite some time. It doesn't project out in a really strong way, but
No.
more just will stay on the skin, nice scent trail as you're going by, but should last almost the duration of a day, not in terms of projection, but again, just having something close to the skin and not being offensive to those around you, which I think, again, is what you want. Iris, neroli, violet, geranium. This is very much a floral type of fragrance, and it does give off that soapy approach that so many people will classify this as having.
I think it has developed a bit of a reputation when it comes to safe, soapy smells, but that's kind of what you're looking for when you're looking for a safe fragrance that's not going to offend anybody. So great choice with Prada L'Homme.
Okay, next up here, we have one that's been rising in the ranks for me in terms of an office scent that I really like and I would recommend to many people. This is Cartier Declaration Soir. So this is a fragrance that is classy. It's not heavy, but it does give off a very mature, well-calculated and composed person, right?
It's really sophisticated. I think it's one of those that is so underrated also, that if you want to, find yourself in an office setting and not necessarily blend in with everyone, but you don't want to be too loud, I think you're standing out a little bit with this one, even though it is a safe scent.
I think one of the reasons why this one stands out is it's not a overly masculine fragrance. I'd say it leans slightly unisex to a little bit more of the masculine side, but not overly masculine. And a big reason for that is its combination of a rose note, which I would say from a designer perspective is not utilized that often for more male-leaning fragrances. So this is really nice to see. You have black pepper, which is a nice combination. It has some fizziness, and then leans into more of the spicy and then woody backbone with sandalwood, and then nutmeg also in here as well. So I like this one. Good middle ground, easy to wear. This one also performed quite well in our blind reaction, which to me was a little bit of a surprise. I thought the floral rose note might take some people in the wrong direction, especially when you position them to have this be more of a masculine fragrance, but people liked it.
Everyone loved it. I don't think there was one person who didn't really like it.
Next up, Courtney.
All right, we've got Acqua de Parma Colonia Club. This one I feel like is perfect if you want to give off a very mature and respected authority in the office without being too mature, like scent-wise.
I would agree. So Acqua de Parma as a brand typically will have, especially in the Colonia line, these older fragrances, they're more mature. This is a nice combination of getting some sportiness to it. Not gonna be like Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel in that regard, but it does have some more modern approaches with how it just wears compared to some of the other Colonia fragrances that you might find. So I like it. Country club vibes too.
Oh, minty fresh, lavender, country club. If you're wearing this one, you've got a nice corner office with a lovely view.
All right, next up here, might be my favorite on the list. This is Creed Green Irish Tweed. So this fragrance to me is a fragrance that I think when people think of Creed, they think of Aventus nowadays, but I think this is the classic Creed.
So much better. That's my favorite one for sure.
It's up there. Arolfa I like Mélissine Impériale. There's a lot of actually for Creed fragrances, and this is one of those fragrances I think it's overlooked. This was originally released in 1985. I'm working on a review of this one, just talking about my feelings about it. But you have lemon verbena in here, iris, violet leaf, sandalwood, ambergris, peppermint. This is one of those fragrances, when I wear it, I just feel more confident. It's clean, it's fresh, it's opulent, it's inviting and just effortless. I almost say this fragrance gives off constant composure.
Yeah.
You're just in control. You feel like you have just ownership over what your actions are, what you're doing. You demand respect. That's what I get when I wear this fragrance. It's very, very well done. And of course, many people are gonna maybe mention Davidoff Cool Water. That one has more of a marine approach. That was released in 1988. This is one of Creed's best, and arguably maybe their best, fragrance from a classic element and classic gentleman point of view. Easy wear in the office. Love this one. One of my favorites. I think a great choice to go for the office if you do have more of a budget for a daily wear at the end of the day. Next up, Courtney.
All right, we've got Tom Ford Beau de Jour. This one is a classic fougere. You get the lavender, patchouli, rosemary, a little bit of oak moss. It's kind of minty. We had this one in our barbershop video, but it's not too overwhelming or strong for the office or mature. This one is kind of a 21st century modern, simplistic approach to the classic fougere. Love it.
I would agree. The other thing I would say about just this entire genre of fragrances, if you look at just fougere, classic gentleman type of fragrances, those I would say are going to be very appropriate in the office. They're not going to be offensive. Their point is not to grab attention. If anything, it's just to complete the package of a complete gentleman, right? And I think Tom Ford Beau de Jour does that exceptionally well. Okay, my last one here, Guerlain Homme EDP. So this is a fragrance that I've mentioned several times on this channel. I really like it. It's probably one of my favorite entry-level Guerlain fragrances that you can find. It is going to have lime, mint, rum, vetiver, cedar, and patchouli. So essentially this one is going for that lime mint off the top. You get some citrus blast. It's refreshing. Great way to actually maybe spray on at the beginning of the day. Does lean mature. This is one of the more wearable Guerlain fragrances, I would say, in this more attainable price range, while still demanding some more mature elements in the process. Some people will say with that rum note that's going to smell like a mojito, which I can definitely get. It's not overpowering. It's not like you're forgetting where you're going and going into work for the day, but maybe it reminds you of where you can go after work. So it's a good middle ground. I like this one. Mature, balanced, refreshing, and I think that's something you would also look for when you're going for this office type of fragrance.
Yep, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. Next up, Courtney, and actually our final one here today.
All right, last one, ending with a bang here, a very popular fragrance, Bleu de Chanel. This one I feel is so mass appealing. It's definitely one of the more popular ones. You get, the Dior Sauvage versus Bleu de Chanel quite often. You get the grapefruit in here, lemon, ginger, cedar. It is a refreshing scent, but it's also a little bit woody, aromatic. It's like a grown-up Sauvage, I think.
I would say. And then also the fact that there's not going to have this prominent ambroxan note that Sauvage has. Sauvage, to me, yes, you could wear it to the office. But I think this is more appropriate, and I think less people are going to notice this, which, to be honest, I don't want to be noticed with my fragrance. If I'm going to be in close quarters in an office environment, The only time I want somebody complimenting my fragrance is if I'm just walking by them, it's very brief. I don't want to intrude on someone else's space.
You don't want to be the guy that's choking people out around you, especially when people are trying to get work done. You can always remember the people who, you know, spray the cologne right before they get into the office. Maybe they're in the elevator and then you get in the elevator and it smells like them. Like, you just know those people and you don't want to be that guy.
I think, again, it matters in context where you're going. If you're going out for the night, you're hanging out with people you know, that's great. But if you're going to the office, I would rather take the approach of being subtle than overly aggressive about how I'm wearing it.
Overcompensating almost. So this one is just a really safe option. All right, guys, that is all we have for 9 great office scents. Let us know down below what your go-to office scent is if we missed any. Obviously, you have to keep the list to a certain extent so we don't make a movie here, but let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to be in the loop for when we release new content. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.